Hi, I am making matcha castella here today. So matcha is the green tea powder. So I have 8 eggs here, and that's the white sugar 300 grams, and this is the flour and green tea powder. That's flour 200 grams of flour and 1.5 tablespoon of green tea powder. And this is the mixture of a honey and milk, 100 milliliter of milk plus 4 tablespoons of honey already mixed in. I have one more honey mix here. This is 1 tablespoon of honey plus half a tablespoon of water. So I'll be brushing this on top of the castella when it comes out of the oven, when it's still hot. So, and I also have 2 loaf pan like this, and greased underneath and parchment on top, with a sprinkle of white sugar on top of the parchment. I don't know if you can see it. So that's ready. So I have to tell you more about the flour. So some of the recipes I found on the internet, they recommended me to use bread flour instead of regular all-purpose, because bread flour has more gluten in it, and it has a stronger texture, I guess, when it's baked, I guess. And I also need a boiling water like this on stove top in a pot. Should be boiling, and I'm gonna start with the cracking 8 eggs into the mixing bowl here. So, and I'm gonna sift this flour and green tea powder mix. So this is the eight eggs to start with. So I'm gonna whisk it for like half a minute or so to break the egg yolk and mix them together with egg white and egg yolk together. And I'm gonna be adding this sugar all at once, 300 grams. So, and I am going to transfer this to the pot with the boiling water in it, just like this. So I'll be whisking vigorously with a whisk in it for like 2 minutes, maybe a little less than 2 minutes. So while I'm mixing it, I'm gonna see the change of consistency. So in the beginning, it's kind of thick and viscous, but as I whisk it, the liquid gets thinner, and then towards the end of 2 minute cycle, it's gonna be kind of foamy and frothy on top. So, and also it increases the temperature of the liquid. So I'm gonna transfer this to the machine. So as you can see, the steam coming out because it's quite hot. So with the fairly fast speed, I'm gonna be whisking this for 6 to 7 minutes. So while I'm whisking it, it also cools down the temperature, I guess, and it's, as you can see, it's on speed 6. So what I'm trying to achieve is a soft peak stage. And so while the machine is running, I am going to sift this dry together. That's bread flour and green tea powder, that is. Doesn't take long, and now cranked it up the speed to number 8. So almost there, and this is the dry. I just sifted. So I think it's almost there. Yeah, this should be enough. And the next step is drizzling in the milk and honey mix while the machine is running at fast speed. drizzling in while the machine is running. Drizzle, drizzle. So the crank up the speed a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 notches, and then keep mixing it for like a minute or so. So now everything's in except for the dry. So I'll be using this spoon and one heaping spoon at a time and run it at the lowest speed to mix it until there's no lumps of flour visible. So that's good. So second spoon in, then run it at a lowest speed again. Now the third, that's the third spoonful of dry. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th. Now this is the end. That's all. And the color, the color of the batter is kind of starting to have green tint on it with it because of the green tea powder. So now I'm gonna take this off of the machine, but before I do that, I have to, using this whisk, I have to scratch the bottom a little because sometimes the gravity pulls down the lumps of flour to the bottom of the bowl. So I have to scratch it to break off any possible lumps of flour to make it even consistency, I guess. Because without it, I used to have some lumps in my batter before. So the batter's poured in and tap the pan like that to remove any possible air bubbles. And now using a toothpick, draw a zigzag line to just to make sure to get rid of all the possible big air bubbles. So this goes into 340 Fahrenheit oven for 50 minutes. So just went in. So it's now halfway through the baking procedure. So I just turn around the pan inside the oven, because just to make sure that every corner of the castella cooks evenly. So it has become my habit, I guess, during the baking procedure, whether if it's cookie or cake or castella or you name it, just I have to turn the pan around inside halfway through, because without that it doesn't cook evenly. So it has been 50 minutes. So I have to check the doneness using this toothpick here. Stick it in the middle and pull it out. And if you don't see anything wet, that means it's done. So they're done. I just took them out. Still hot. So what I'm gonna be doing now is to brush off this honey mix. That's 1 tablespoon of honey and ½ tablespoon of water. Brush it on top while the castella is still hot. Brush it like that. just like so. And then I'm gonna be flipping it over on a plastic wrap, just like so, and then unmold and strip off the parchment paper there. And then this is still hot, so while it's still hot, wrap it with plastic. And this is the other one, unmold, strip it off, strip off the parchment there, and wrap it. So this is still hot, and they are gonna go into the fridge for overnight, upside down or topside down. So I'll be able to taste them tomorrow. And this is the batch I baked yesterday, so they are ready. So I'm gonna unwrap them and cut it. So they are unwrapped. And when I cut Castella, I always use this serrated bread knives because it cuts better than using regular knives. So I cut a bunch of them. So because I used bread flour this time instead of all-purpose flour, and bread flour has more gluten in it, it has a more bouncy like that because of higher gluten content in the flour. So it's kind of bouncy like that. Something I can achieve with all-purpose flour. So I guess bread flour makes difference. So anyway, if you have oven in your household, you can try this recipe. After a couple of tries, you will get the hang of it. Thanks for watching there. Bye bye.